everybody, welcome to Wedding Wednesday. My name is Michelle and I'm the owner of McEllis Brides Design Studio in Hampton. And on Wednesdays I share with you guys wedding day tips, tricks, and hacks. If it is your first time here, welcome, and hit the subscribe button below and the notification bell so you will get notified every Wednesday when we upload new videos. If you are coming back, welcome back, and share this video with someone who you know is getting married soon. So today's tips. So this is crucial for anyone who has just started their wedding planning process. Even if you've already started, you could still probably benefit from watching this video. So share this with someone that you know who is getting married, no matter what part of the process they're in, but especially anyone who's newly engaged. This will really help them save a lot of time, headache, stress, money, and this will really help their vendors continue to like them throughout the whole process if you watch this video first. So tip number one, you will not believe what tip number one is. I think 90% of couples skip this tip, and I don't care what you're planning, if it's a birthday party, if it's any type of event, if you're buying a house, if you're buying a car, you have to do tip number one. So what is tip number one? It is set your budget. Set your budget. There is nothing worse than a couple coming in. Actually, let me paint this picture first. Let me give you this. So say you were about to purchase a car or a home or any other big ticket item, something that you don't do every day. You might do it, once or twice, maybe 3 times in life. It's something that you're not well versed in. So you go to the car dealership and the salesman says, hello, welcome to Chevy. Welcome to the Chevy dealership or wherever. And you say, hi, how are you? And they say, well, how can I help you? What is it that you're looking for? You say, I need an SUV that has 8 seats, heated seats, push button start, a sunroof, rims. I mean, you are just naming every single luxury item that a car could possibly have. Rear cam, all of this. And so they say, I've got the perfect vehicle for you. And you get in that car, you test drive it. Y'all are riding around. He's, selling you this car, telling you, hey, everything that you said, it has it and more. Just a little bit more. Has all those things. And you're like, yes, I love those extra things, the extra features that this car has. I love the fact that it has Bluetooth. I love the fact that it has GPS in the car. You get back, shows you the price tag. It's $100,000. And you say, oh, well, I don't have that kind of money. I was thinking to spend about $40,000. And he says, okay, well, when I asked you what you wanted, I presented you with that, but you didn't tell me you had a budget. Now you've wasted his time, and he likely doesn't like you anymore. And not that that matters. He doesn't have to like you, but you will get much better customer service if you do not waste people's time. That does not make you more likable, okay? And again, you could say all day long, oh, well, you don't have to like me. I'm giving you business, whatever. Know your budget. So when we ask you what you want, and we ask you, okay, you gave us a list of 100 things, but you can only afford 10 things on this list. So we won't show you 100 things, but you can only afford 10 and waste time. I just think about it just like that. Think about if that was your job and someone came into your job and wasted your time knowing that they could have never afford any of the things that you just showed them. Think how irritated you would be. Just think about that. And now, is that going to be you? Are you going to be that person? That's up to you. But set your budget. Okay. The rest of these we're going to get through quickly, but that is the main thing. Like, I don't care if you don't do the rest of these. If you set your budget ahead of time before you start looking for anything for your wedding, it will make everything so much smoother. As well as I have on my website, if you go to mcellisbrides.com, I have a budget worksheet where you plug in your maximum amount of money that you want to spend, and it breaks it down into percentages. Okay, you need to take 10% of your budget and spend it on rings. 50% of your budget needs to go to your caterer. It'll tell you percentages based off of the maximum amount of money that you want to spend. So that's the first thing that you need to do, is set a budget. Number 2 is to pick your wedding style. So there are a couple different types of weddings that you can have. So you need to pick whether you're going to have a local wedding, like at your church or at a local venue, if you're going to do a destination wedding, if you live in a different city and state than your hometown. Decide if you want to go to your hometown, so then your friends and family don't have to travel to you. Also, you can just do an elopement. Elopements, sometimes they get a bad rap, but I think they're an awesome way to just experience each other in a way that you usually do not get the chance, not very often. Elopements can also be very fun, kind of spur of the moment, or they can be completely planned, but it's just you two. It's just you two. And you save a ton. Oh my God, you save so much money. Or you spend all the money on yourselves. You can take your whatever your wedding budget was going to be, and you just go on the best vacation of your life, and you have that memory with just you and your fiance. So yeah, select your wedding style. Number 3 is to pick a date. Once you know how much you're going to spend total on your entire wedding day, once you know where this wedding is going to be and what style wedding is going to be, then you can pick a date. I recommend you also just picking an alternate date, just in case, if you can both agree on 2 dates, just in case whatever venue you select is not available on your first date. All right, so number 4 is to hire a wedding planner. If it is in your budget, go ahead and hire a wedding planner. It will save you so much time. And time to me is money, because if I can spend more time focused on what makes me money versus spending time on something that's just purely for my enjoyment, then I feel like that time is better time spent. Even though you're spending money to save yourself time, but you're still generating income for yourself versus you taking that time just spinning on Pinterest, on YouTube, on Wedding Wire, on the Knot, just trying to find all these little pieces. Hire someone who can do that for you, and that's literally their job. That's what they do all day long. It's not going to be hard for them if you have selected your budget. If you know your budget, it won't be hard for your wedding planner to say, hey, these are the vendors you need to go with. Boom, 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 boom. These are the time and dates that they're available. Boom, boom. And she can just line it up, or they could just line you up with what you need. Okay, so number 5 is now select your wedding venue. I want to jump back to number 4. If you cannot afford a wedding planner, you can DIY it. Do it yourself, and just get you a day of coordinator. Really for the rehearsal and for the day of your wedding. That will save you some money, and you can do it yourself by using those tools that I just named. Those tools are not bad, but you just spend a lot more time. Go to theknot.com, go to Wedding Wire, find your wedding professionals. You can also, tip number 5, when I said select your wedding venue, ask people like that. If you have booked with them, once you book your wedding venue, they'll likely already have a list to say, hey, these are some trusted contacts that we can give you to help you along with your wedding process. And likely they have worked there before multiple times, so it makes the experience great for both you and the venue, and it makes their job easier because they don't have to do as much like hand holding for a new vendor coming in that's not familiar with their venue, and it just leaves less room for mistakes. Okay, so also a great resource is follow McEllis Brides Design Studio on YouTube, because I give you guys wedding day tips, tricks, and hacks and DIY projects every Wednesday. So number 5 is select your wedding venue. Pick your wedding venue based off of your budget. If you're doing it yourself, you can, I would just make a list of places that you would like to get married at. Call them first before you go. Just start visiting and say, hey, how much does your average bride spend here? This is my budget. What can I get? This, how many people, how many guests I want to come. Where does that put me? And then you write down the places that fit into your budget and then go see those places and book from there. If you don't have a planner, that's the best way to do it. If you do have a planner, I would just submit to them, hey, this is my budget, this is how many guests are coming, and they'll bring you back some ideas and some places that fit into your budget. All right, so number 6 is select your bridal party. This part is so important to do at this point, because this is what happens typically. You get engaged, you're excited, you send out some little bridal boxes, some t-shirts, and you select your bridal party, and you don't even have a date yet. You don't have a venue, you don't have anything. That's literally like the first thing people do is they get engaged. Of course, we post it on social media, and then you're like, hey, I gotta get this bridal party popping. I gotta get it started. And you send them whatever you're going to send them to ask them to be a part of your bridal party. However, there's no time, there's no date, there's no location, there's no budget, and they'll blindly say yes because they're excited. Then 6 months later, when it comes time for them to get their bridesmaids dressed, and now you have all these things picked out, and they're like, this actually is the week before my kids start school, so I can't do it. And then you're like, what? Like, why would you agree to this? And you've been knowing for 6 months. They said yes in the beginning, but you didn't have every detail for them to say yes to for 6 months. You maybe had it within 3 months. And for 3 months, they might have been kind of like trying to say, well, maybe I can work it out. Let's see. And once you firmly said, hey, it's going to be on this date, this time, this price, then they're like, you know what? It just doesn't work for me. And it gets messy. So pick all of those things first, then select your bridal party and give them something to work with. Even budget for them. Like, I know that this is my budget for my wedding gown because I use the McEllis Brides budget list. So I know this is how much my gown is going to cost. And this is how much our bridesmaid dresses are going to cost, because this is the wedding style that I'm having, because I've already selected my venue and I paid my deposit. This is the date that's going to be on. This is the time. And then they'll know what they're saying yes to. Okay, that's just like when you said yes to your fiance. You dated him for how long first? Okay? You didn't say yes blindly. Or hopefully. If you did, rethink that. Okay. So, what number are we on? Number 7, my favorite part is select your bridal attire. So now that you know how much money you're going to be spending on your dress because you set your budget, it makes my job easier. So then you can come tell me, Michelle, I want this, and this. This is how much money I can spend. What can you do? How can you help me? And I will be able to help you. And this is not only for you. Select your attire for your entire bridal party. Of course, it will be easier if you start with yourself, so that way you won't mix up like colors and things like that. Select your bridal attire for you. Then the rest of your bridal party, the groom, the groomsmen, the bridesmaids, everything. Select your bridal attire. So number 8. Save the dates and invitations. If you are doing save the dates, this will be the time to do them. If you say, hey, I'm going to skip that part, go ahead and select your invitations at that time. So that way you'll have enough time for whoever's doing them. If you're getting a local person, sometimes you can hire them to do the entire process for you, as well as get them addressed, stamped, and mailed out. If you're doing some company that's online and they can do every step for you and you're not doing that part yourself, you want to make sure you have enough time between the time frame that you're getting, the date that it is, and the time frame that you're getting married. I'm not sure what Actually, I think it used to be kind of standard for to give like 12 to 9 months notice. But typically, people do not actually plan their life out that much in advance. At least I know I do not. I do not plan out my life for a full year. So I would say anywhere from as as long as you give them 3 months. That's the shortest amount of time that I feel like you can get away with. Give them 3 months before your wedding date. 3 months notice. I would say if you can give them, 5, that would be great too. But typically 3 months is all someone needs to know whether or not they'll be able to attend your wedding. Some people will say, "Oh, well, I want to give them more time so they can save money." Let me tell y'all something. let me tell you something. If you send me a wedding invitation that's 12 months away, I am not going to start saving for your money in this 12 months away. I'm sorry. I'm never going to do that. I don't think anybody does that. It doesn't give them more notice. It just creates more time for them to be annoyed with you. So by the time your wedding day comes, we're sick of it. And I just wanted to give you guys that brutally honest opinion. Your bridal party and your family will likely get tired of you talking about your wedding if you give us 12 months notice. We're not going to start saving for your wedding, whether we're traveling, bridesmaids dresses. We are not going to start putting aside money for your wedding unless it's your mama. Okay? If it's your mom or your dad, maybe. Cousins, bridesmaids, best friends, brother, sister, we're not doing that. Okay? So, save yourself your time and your breath. Save yourself sending us out these emails. About 3 months ahead, I'll start paying for stuff or saving or doing what I need to do. I'm not going to do it 12 months in advance. Okay. Oh, number nine is decor. Find your decor coordinator or whatever you want to call it, wherever you're going to get all your decorations, your linens. And because you already had your wedding venue picked and booked, when I say select your wedding venue second, or where's that on the list? Actually, 5. It's number 5 on the list. I don't mean just like verbally say, "Oh, I'm getting married here." Like literally go to the venue, get a contract, and pay a deposit. That's how you select your venue. You can, never mind. Anyway, since you already have that picked out, then you should know at this point whether or not they have tablecloths, what's included. They might already have a few things that you need, like pipe and drape. Not a lot, but just a little. So then when you go to whoever's doing your decor, then you know what to ask for. Or if you still don't know what to ask for at this point, you can tell them, "This is my venue, this is a time, this is a date, this is what my gown looks like. These are the colors that my bridesmaids and my groomsmen are wearing. This is the color that the groom is wearing. Here you go." Now, they will be able to help you so effectively and say, "Okay, at this venue, at this time of day, with the type of gown that you have, it is champagne and you like roses." They can take that information and present you with something, as well as tell them your budget, because you filled out the sheet. You filled out the sheet from McEllis Brides that told you this is how much money I'm going to spend on decor from my maximum dollar amount that I'm going to spend. Then you can give them all that information and they can come back and present you with whatever type of presentation or show you a book. You can pick from those things, and it saves both the customer and the vendor so much time. It makes it so much easier, and it's seamless. Like they can literally say, "This is what I can do for you." It will match everything that you have given me. You know exactly where you're getting married at. You know what they have to offer already. They likely can even print you out a sheet saying, "These are things that we have that are included." So you'll know what to ask for. You can take it to your decor person. Your decor person might say, "Oh, you might need, napkins." Your venue might say, "Oh, we already have napkins." So now you know, hey, don't double spend. But if you don't know these things ahead of time, that's how you end up having things on the invoice. And then, 30 days or 60 days before your wedding, you're like stressed out. You're like, "What can I take off?" Well, you paid 2 people for 100 napkins. So Next thing, number 10, all other wedding vendors. So if you get those big ticket items out of the way first, it will save you so much time when you are selecting your other vendors. And some things you don't necessarily need, like, really and honestly, I absolutely love cake. You guys know that I love cake, and I mean, for me, at the wedding reception, that's all I'm looking for, is how beautiful is this cake and how good does the cake taste. But if you are not a cake person, then you can say, hey, I don't necessarily have to have a cake. We could do something else. We could have a dessert bar. We can do just a toast. If you're not, wanting to cut the cake and feed each other cake, if that's not something that you really like, don't spend $800 on a cake. Take that $800 and spend it somewhere else on something that you actually want. So if you set your budget first, then you'll know that going in. Like, I don't necessarily need a cake person, but I definitely need to add a little more for the videographer. Two vendors that I would say that you absolutely have to have is a videographer and a photographer. There's so much that's going to happen at your wedding that you do not actually get to see. So of course pictures, of course photography you're going to have, but if you can afford it, get a videographer so you can go back and literally watch it. Some videographers will even like take little like snippets of the guests that came and what they're saying or what they're doing, something that you missed while you were maybe getting dressed or while you were out taking pictures, or whatever. The videographer gets a lot of those small moments that you might have missed in the grand scheme of everything that's happening. Look for your officiant, things like that. And then you'll know exactly how much you have to spend based off what you've already spent. So then you won't overspend and hire a photo booth first, but you haven't hired your DJ, which you absolutely need, but you don't absolutely need the photo booth, but you do need the DJ. So hopefully these tips help. If you follow these 10 tips, I can guarantee you it will save you so much time, so much headache. All right, so let's run back down this list, and I'm going to give you time frames in which you should have these things done in. All right, so tip number 1 is to set your budget. So set your budget, select your wedding style, and pick a date. Those 3 things should be done within 30 days of you getting engaged. Number 4 and 5, hire a planner if it's in your budget, and select your venue. Those things should be done 60 days from the date that you got engaged. Number 6 and 7, you need to select your bridal party and select your wedding attire. Those things should be done 90 days from your engagement date. Number 8 and 9, save the dates and invitations and decor 120 days from the date of your engagement. And number 10, as soon as you're done checking off all the rest, go ahead and get on those others ASAP, which is all other vendors. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next week.